took that money and I came to Ghana and started building in Ghana. And now I own 2 homes. I own a business and I'm in real estate.
Owning 2 homes in just 4 years.
Yes. People that follow Trump were seizing our capital.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
It's the most heinous and disrespectful act that I've ever seen happen in my home. People were climbing the walls. They broke into Congress. They did all kind of disgusting and disrespectful things. They hurt people. Some people died. They were just wreaking havoc in protest for their leader.
You have to show strength and you have to be strong.
Ghanaian landlords, if they rent out a place to you, they do it a year or 2, right?
Yes.
And when they see your business is booming, at year 2, they say, I'm not going to extend your lease.
Yes.
And you know what they do? They do the same business that you're doing.
Yes.
Why do you think we have that mindset as black people?
They didn't want to do business with me because I was a black American, because I was a woman. They said it to my face. Don't let fear stand in the way. I almost didn't come here. You have to be prepared with no expectation. Everything that you think or expect will challenge you. I've learned that everybody doesn't want you to be successful. Even when they tell you that to your face, I felt like this is what I am choosing. And no matter what obstacles will come to me, I will find my way. I'm supposed to be here.
Hello guys, and welcome back again to another amazing episode. And this is the Diaspora Transition episode where we have dialogue with diasporans currently living here on the continent who relocated from the UK, US, and any other diasporan countries. We dive into their life, reasons of moving to the continent, and even how they are holding up here living in Africa, Ghana. So today we do have here someone very special. She goes by the name Marissa. She is huge in real estate, sales executive. She sells all the beautiful houses here in Ghana. She also is huge in beauty. You know, her background has been in beauty, cosmetics, making sure the ladies look very pretty. And yeah, she decided to leave the US 4 years ago to be here in Ghana. And I'm like, wait, why do you want to do that? So she's here on the show to talk to me about her reasons for doing so. So without further ado, Marissa, welcome on the show.
Thank you, Hayford. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. It's been a long time coming. I really wanted you to come on the show, but I think it's the right time now.
It's perfect.
Perfect time. People are watching you. They might not know who you are. I introduced you briefly. Can you introduce yourself again to people watching you for the first time?
Absolutely. My name is Marissa. I'm from Washington, D.C. originally. I moved to Ghana in 2020, 4 years ago. I brought my beauty business from America to Ghana. I opened up a med spa with my sister and my brother. We all moved here together. Since we've been here, we've had 2 locations that were very successful.
Wow.
Right here in Ghana, in East Legon, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's a good location.
It is. It
Wow.
is prime time. This is where we work. This is where we live. A lot of other diasporans are here as well.
True.
And since then, we've moved to a concierge format where we actually go to the client.
Oh, like home delivery service?
Yes. Mobile.
Mobile, okay.
And we work with a lot of tour companies as well as doing tours as well. But my big excitement right now is, of course, about my real estate.
Right.
Yes.
Where we are currently filming this episode is called Didnt Place. Didnt is a co-working space located in East Legon, very close to American House. If you come from the US, UK, you have an online work that you have to, be on your computer every day. You need the internet, first of all. You need constant electricity. Didnt Place is the place for you. They do have solar grid. They don't even use the local electricity. It's just for backup. So there's no way you run out of electric or it would go down. The Wi-Fi is constant. So make sure you check it out. And when you get here, tell them you're coming from Webnation Africa. You might get a discount. Leaving, what made you want to leave Washington, D.C., like the USA?
Yes.
And you know where I'm coming from as
Yes.
a Ghanaian. What made you want to leave the USA?
Wow. For me personally, just coming to Ghana, I was just seeking business opportunities. I knew that I would have a connection. This is the motherland. This is my home. I always wanted to live in Africa.
Yeah.
But I didn't know this would be the time and this would be the path for me. But I just came and said, let me just see what's going on. And my sister had been here before. And she would say, we have to check it out. We have to seek business opportunities. It's booming. Now's the time. And in D.C., this happened before. We call it gentrification, where prices are low, things are very stable, and people come in who may be very wealthy. They buy up all the property, they buy up all the businesses, and now the city is choked for another 30 years with very high prices, and it's hard to break entry as a new business or a newcomer.
Yeah.
So we saw the emerging market in Ghana and decided, oh, why not just check it out? And I fell in love. I fell in love with Ghana on first sight.
Wow.
As soon as I got to the airport, it reminded me so much of my first second home, Jamaica. And I said, wow, this is like Jamaica, but with enterprise.
Is that where your heritage is from?
Well, I have in my bloodline, but I grew up going there with my family in the summers. And so that was my first piece of Africa.
Wow.
And when I got to Ghana, I said, no, this has so much more. And it felt so vast, like the possibilities were just endless. And I'm hungry for that. That adventure, I like. I have to have it. So from that point, I was just moving one step forward to plan my life here. And I taught a class. I was well received. I made great connections. And then I looked for commercial spaces and started moving my things. But in that transition was the insurrection on the Capitol in Washington, D.C., where I'm from. I don't know if you're familiar with what happened, but the Trumpsters,
Brief me.
Make America Great Again,
Right.
people that follow Trump, were seizing our Capitol. That's like our White House, our Jubilee House. And it's the most heinous and disrespectful act that I've ever seen happen in my home in Washington, D.C. And it was so bad.
What went down? For people who don't know what happened.
So people were climbing the walls of the U.S. Capitol. And they broke into Congress. They raided it. They did all kind of disgusting and disrespectful things. They hurt people. People went to jail. Some people died. They were just wreaking havoc in protest for their leader at the time, who lost the presidential election.
Right.
And they wanted to take their country back. These people were white, and they had an agenda. I don't want to get into all the details. It's pretty traumatic for me, actually, because the U.S. told us we couldn't come home. If you're from D.C., don't come home.
Wow.
And it took weeks to be able to be received back home. I never have been told, don't come back home. And from living in D.C., we've experienced many different emotional, traumatic events. 9/11, what was the other one? The sniper, the D.C. sniper, where a man and his child were going around shooting people at gas stations, at schools, and random places. Yeah, so...
This person is what?
No, that person was actually black.
Okay.
So it's not always a black and white thing, but in the era of Trump, it's been a black and white thing.
Right.
I mean, we're in Black History Month, so anything that has happened going forth with the law in terms of civil rights has been a race war and has had a pivotal moment at that Capitol in the National Mall in Washington, D.C., because that's where the bills are passed, the laws are made. So I live in a historic area, and I've seen a lot. But that one for me was deep. And to watch it from Africa, to watch it from here in Ghana, where I was having peace, where I was feeling at home and loved and seen in a way I've never felt before, was momentous. So it just fueled my fire to get here and stay.
I like that. I find interesting the topic of Washington, D.C. That's where you grew up as a child.
Yes, that's where my parents
Can you walk
are
through
from.
your upbringing? How was it like? Where did how was it like? Was it two parents in the household? Walk me through your upbringing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So my parents are very special people. I love them so much. Shout out to them. My mother was on radio at Howard University Television for about 21 years.
Wow.
She's a DC legend. She was one of the first women in radio and in broadcast journalism in Washington, D.C., which was major at that time. She's actually still in that industry now. And my father is a pastor and has been in ministry my whole life, but also started out in broadcast journalism. So I come from a family, a big family, that has major values in God, in serving community, helping others, and being excellent in our craft, and also very pro-Black and into Black excellence. I went to private school. I played instruments. I played piano. I played the clarinet. I was a dancer my whole life. I played soccer.
Wow.
I was very close with my grandmother and my aunties and my uncles and my cousins. So leaving Washington, D.C. Is a big deal. And it wasn't that I wanted to leave. I wasn't looking for refuge. I was very happy. I'd been working at my salon for
salon?
Yeah, almost 20 years. I worked in Bill Lawrence Salon, which is a major staple in Black history and in Washington, D.C. One of the first of its kind in our country at all. So that was the place that Halle Berry came to, Patti LaBelle came to, Phyllis Hyman came to. Those are just some major artists, but also all of the top executives in the country, all of the politicians in the country. It's something.
We're coming to your salon?
Oh, they still do.
Oh, wow.
To this day.
Oh, wow.
It's a national treasure. But yeah, my life has been very great. I went to Howard University, the greatest institution in all of the historically Black colleges.
Wow.
Yeah, booming social life. I was actually expanding my business and building my own commercial space. Those were my plans. But I took that money and I came to Ghana and started building in Ghana. And now I own 2 homes. I own a business and I'm
Let's speak about that.
in real estate.
In 4 years, you've been able to establish your business here, which is the beauty.
Brilliant Beauty.
Yes.
Yes.
And owning 2 homes in just 4 years.
Yes.
How did that whole thing happen? Let's just start from the beginning, from touchdown. You know, people often watch, they see online and they see people acquiring all these properties, doing all these amazing things, but it's not easy.
No.
You have to go through the process. So just walk me through it. How was it when you touched down in the beginning? Where were you living? Everything. Let's talk about it.
Okay, so when I touched down, I was in Airbnbs for a while, which was a very good resource because you could communicate with a property owner. You could stay somewhere that you could see online. You could go check it out. No commitment. You could move around in different neighborhoods and still have like a homey feel and vibe.
Yeah.
So that's how I started. And then, you know, you just meet people. Ghana's a great place for networking. I've always felt home here. So my community, the friends that I've made were also very instrumental in helping me establish myself as we all were doing the same things. My business partner, Marvin, was a part of that as well. He had a business in the same shopping center as I did. So we always helped each other in business in our beginnings. So I think I would say our community, I'm a part of AAAG, the African American Association of Ghana.
Yeah.
My sister was the vice president and now the secretary. My brother was sergeant of arms, still sergeant of arms. So we got involved. We got involved in Ghanaian community and social life and networking, as well as our African American community and networking. And that really was it. That gave me all the tools and skills that I needed. Plus, I'm from D.C. We can do anything.
Yeah. How long did you do the beauty? Say the name again.
Brilliant Beauty.
Is it still in emotion?
Yeah.
Okay. So, establishing Brilliant Beauty. Can we walk through getting the shops? Was there challenges? Because yeah.
It's a testimony.
No, let's get into it.
Yeah. So I would say that, you know, you have to get involved with Ghanaians on the ground. You have to meet people that you trust, that you go through things with, your relationship is tested, or maybe they come from referral. And that really helps you if you want to start a business. When I started, there weren't as many resources as there are now for that. There's the Diaspora Resource Center, a few other networks here that will help you get started in your business as you're on the ground.
GIPC?
Yeah, GIPC, absolutely. So for me, those weren't the things that helped me. It was just my own curiosity. So meeting the right people, they pointed me in the right direction, and I was able to just follow through with the plan. So our first location, I would say I learned a lot of valuable lessons.
Yeah. Just say it as it is. What happened? What happened?
So we were located in Medina,
Yeah.
right by UPS.
Okay. very close to a very big university.
Yes, big university. And so for us, we lived in East Legon. And so we said, oh, it's by university. That means it's great commerce. That means it's an emerging market. That means there are people here spending money and it's circulating. They're professors, they're professionals, new professionals. We thought that, it was an up-and-coming neighborhood and lots of promise and we were getting in good. And that might be true in some ways, but not in the ways that we thought.
Wow.
Not in the ways that they're true for us in America. And the place where we were, it was a supermarket before, an abandoned supermarket. I have pictures, not on me now, but I will share.
Yeah, share with me so I can put it on the screen.
I will. I mean, the place was a wreck. And there was such beauty on the outside. The glass was very beautiful from the corner. So it looked like, this is a nice place. Like we can polish it up and put in hard work and it will be a staple in the community.
Right.
And it didn't turn out that way.
What happened?
Well, I think that first of all, we're still in court for that one. We had to end up going to court with our landlords there.
Really?
Yes. They were happy to have us, but I don't think that they thought that we would be as successful. And I've learned that everybody doesn't want you to be successful, even when they tell you that to your face and it seems receiving, especially when you're new in a foreign country. You don't understand all the cultural nuances and rhythms and ways that people move when they like you and when they don't. And so there were things that were happening to us over time, like our electricity meter was taken or things were cut off unnecessarily, locked out. They did different things that were signs. And as I talked to...
try to sabotage you.
To try to sabotage. And so as I talked to other friends who are business owners, both Ghanaian and American and people from the UK, they would say, oh, they're trying to get you out. They're trying to push you out. And we say, hey, why? We're good tenants. We bring love and light. We've made this place look like a palace. I mean, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
We had a miniature golf course. We had a bar. The barbershop was like a staple in the community. We had the beauty spa upstairs. It was very calm and relaxing. It brought elegance to the building, to the place.
Right.
And people were traveling from near and far to come see us. So...
Wow. One thing that I've heard about Ghanaian landlords, and if they rent out a place to you, they do it a year or two, right?
Yes.
And when they see your business is booming, at year 2, they say, I'm not going to extend your lease.
Yes.
And you know what they do? They do the same business that you're doing.
Yes.
I've heard.
It's true.
Why do you think we have that mindset as black people?
I can't say it's for black people, but I definitely have experienced it as a trend here in Ghana. And that's exactly what happened. We hit the 2-year mark and, these things have been happening and we heard, oh, they want to get you out. They want to do this. They won't renew your lease. And it was time to renew our lease. And we thought we were just going to keep going and they didn't renew. And so that's why we're in court now, because we invested so much into this place to be there for at least 5 years as we grew. And it was just completely tumultuous, unnecessary, very disrespectful. They didn't want to do business with women. They didn't want to do business with American women. They were very insulting in the end. Yes. So it's my sister and I, my brother, her husband. And they didn't respect that we were equals at the table. We all share the business in 3 parts. They didn't like that. So we would be in meetings with them and they would try to shut us down and only talk to the men. And we had to bring in a Ghanaian friend who would represent us to speak on our behalf because there was nothing getting done there.
I've heard this before.
Yeah, it's true. And then I heard that they were conspiring. There were other people in our complex. I'll just remain nameless, but they were conspiring to get someone else in there who did beauty, who did barbering. I think now it ended up being a store, but the first attempt was to do exactly what our business was.
Crazy.
And that this was a trend in Ghana. If they see you doing well, they try to get you out so that they can take your crowd and your people. That didn't happen with us. Our people followed us because our people were there for us.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, they were.
But that didn't stop you though. You went on to
No, you just move on. It definitely didn't stop us. My sister is very fiery and she is in court every meeting and every opportunity to fight back and get our money back for what we've lost and get justice. And even when I wanted to just throw the whole thing away, like, our team together, we've decided to just press on for justice and move on at the same time, which is not easy.
And this was earlier in the journey. How many years into you moving here did this happen?
2 years.
2 years?
Yes.
Wow.
So imagine, like, you come from America, you bring your savings. Let's say you bring $100,000, $200,000.
Right.
You know, you have your money for your living, you have your money for your commercial space.
Right.
Everything you do, you have to pay up front. Right?
Yeah.
So
2 years rent in advance.
Yeah, it will cost you. It will cost you. Then you ship your furniture, you ship your things.
And duty is crazy.
Duty is crazy. We shipped a car. We shipped all the things, the chairs from the shop. We shipped all our equipment. We had medical equipment from the States, and
I didn't know how bad it was. I asked, there's a car, I don't know, somebody's buying a car from the US, in Canada. And the cost of the car is just $100,000, right?
Yeah.
And he's paying $35,000 for tax for duty. That's crazy.
Yeah, they'll try to rob you because in their mind they think like, oh, you're rich, you afford to bring this thing here, and now you have to pay me. And our journey at the port, I could cry. We got there like early in the morning, and it was a bright, beautiful, sunny day. I can't remember what month it was. It was a rainy season, so it must have been like June.
June, July.
And it was a clear day, so we're like, okay, we'll get out there early. You get the call that your stuff is there. You're so excited. Oh, I'll have my car.
Right.
I have my things. We're moving forward. We're making progress.
Yeah.
Oh, you have the money. You've gone to the bank. You have all this cash.
Yeah.
Oh, it will be enough. You know somebody here. You know somebody there. Please. So you get there. They make you pay for the vest to put on. They make you pay for the hat to put on because they say, oh, you're in the port, so you have to dress like you're in the port. So all these things, you're just
paying small.
Yes, you have to grease palms in order to get anything done. And it seems just ridiculous, but you're doing it.
Yeah.
So in America, we have something called Costco. Which is a big warehouse, right? So the port kind of reminds me of Costco, the way they have the lines. You have line here, line here, line here, line here. And all of your things are wrapped around in your line. So you have your truck, you have your, what do they call it? Container.
Yeah.
You have your container, and it has everything in it. And then they empty everything out. And then the guard has to come over and check everything in there. And let's say you're not ready emptying everything out. You have a few more items. Then he goes to the next person. So it might take him hours
to come back
before
to you.
he comes back to you.
What?
So mind you, you get out there 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, daybreak. Now, we've ordered Star Bites.
For them to deliver it to you guys there?
Yes, because we were hungry. You're just standing there in the hot sun, and you have like a crew of people. We might have had like 5, 6 people total
who
to help us lift things, and we had our own crew, our own people. So we've ordered Star Bites. We've had juice. We waited for the guard. The guard says, "Oh, I'll come back." You know, everything that you have that's precious is outside. It's outside, vulnerable. Anybody can come up and steal it, so you're like this. You're protecting everything. While you're also going in and going out and going in and going out, bringing the things. It's the most vulnerable moment ever.
Wow. And
then for us, the guard finally comes back. It might be like 3 o'clock. I swear, it felt like the day reminded me of Good Friday. Like, I'm a Christian, and so Good Friday, you count the hours that the Lord was on the cross before he died for your sins, and in the crucifixion. It felt like that. Like you're looking at the sky, you're hoping that it doesn't rain, that everything stays fine.
Because then the whole thing is going to be drenched.
Because the whole thing is going to be drenched, and time is of the essence, and you want to get out of there before dark, and you don't know how long it's going to take. And you don't have access to outside money. You only have the money that you brought. Right. So as things are costing you, you haven't got to the main meat of the matter, which is the actual port to get your things. Mind you, we brought a car. So the car is the most expensive thing, and they can charge whatever they want for it. So you're just at the mercy. You're at your own cross, actually.
Wow.
And I want to say it was like 2 or 3 o'clock, and I looked up at the sky and I said, oh God. Getting very dark. We have to move. We have to move. So all the things are out, and we're trying to cover the things because you see the rain is going to come. It's going to come fast. It's going to come hard. So the guard comes and he's checking. We're like, oh, please, 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 can we pay you to hurry so we can move these things along so we can get it back in the truck? Then the rain starts falling. Pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds of rain. We have leather couches. We have suede couches. We have chairs. We have medical sensitive equipment. We have barber antique chairs that are 100 years old. Shout out to B-Snip Barbershop. Like, so many precious things and heavy things. Some of those barber chairs are like 300, 400 pounds. You can't easily lift them. And if you break it, it's finished. Art. Like, just, we have a mosaic glass elephant, a replica of a baby elephant. Like, so many things. But anyway, half of our stuff got ruined.
What?
Got rained on. We were soaking wet in our underwear. Everybody was just muddy and wet for hours. It took us hours to get everything back in the truck.
Wow.
And then you have to sit there and wait for the rain to stop. You're just sitting there wet.
This is a very bad experience.
Hungry.
I've heard this a lot.
I'll never forget it.
Wow.
I'll never forget it.
Did that kind of make your transition a little bit difficult in the initial stages?
A little bit difficult.
A lot difficult.
At that point, and it wasn't that I hadn't decided before that, but at that point I had decided, this thing is really a choice. I can go home. I can change my mind. I'm not bound to anything. Because I've gone through this, it doesn't mean that I'm committed to it. I don't have to stay.
You felt like that?
I felt like that, but also I felt like this is what I am choosing. And no matter what obstacles will come to me, I will find my way.
Wow.
Because I'm supposed to be here. And at the end of the day, God will provide, God will protect. We'll all be all right. And those things, they're just things. They're things that we've worked hard for. They're things we thought we would need in anticipation for life here. But obviously, God had other plans. And, we were tested. We were definitely tested. But we stuck together. We got through it. I don't think we ate that day till like maybe midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
We ordered KFC. Everybody was savages for chicken. And we had to find somewhere to store our things. We couldn't store all our things where we were staying. I mean, the challenges didn't end with that.
Wow.
So just the port alone was one of the biggest lessons in Ghana in my transition, in that, you have the power in your choice, and what you don't know, and you have to be prepared with no expectation, because everything that you think or expect will challenge you. And with that being said, you have to be fully committed beyond your understanding and beyond your faith as you know it.
I like it. Now, you 2 years into the game, you had to go through this. But fast forward, I really like what you've done with...
That was within the first year. The second year was the challenges in
with
the business.
Business, okay.
Yes.
So where did Shark Island and going into real estate came into the picture? At this point, the business is in court.
Yes.
2 years into the game.
Yes.
Transition to 3 years and 4 years. What happened?
We actually started another location. It was a temporary spot, and we got invited to a compound where other businesses were. And the other businesses that even invited us and that were there, they didn't last. And it's a trend here in Ghana that a lot of businesses start up and they don't last a year. And so then we were responsible for their portion of the rent. So essentially it was a bad deal, and we had to get out of it, as we were still in court for the first location. So after that, we decided, okay, we don't need to get so grounded and invested unless it's our own building. So we started building our school sometime in the midst of all of that. And we said we would just focus on building our school and making that our home ground where we would do our services and provide our place in the community. That school will be on Ring Road, not far from Osu.
Okay.
And we'll teach barbering, we'll teach beauty, we'll teach professional training skills, lots of things in the works and the plans, and we're actually almost complete.
Oh, wow.
So in the midst of that transition, Marvin, who was my business neighbor at my first location, had this idea to create Shark Island. And I'd spoken to him on the way back from buying land in Asebu. We all have land in Asebu with a lot of other African Americans. bought plots in our
in
building.
the central region.
In the central region. It's beautiful by Cape Coast. And we were coming back from a trip there buying land, and he showed me the sea breachers. That was the inspiration for the sharks in Shark Island. They're like jet skis, but they ride the water in and out like submarines at like 60 miles per hour. They're like $100,000 a pop. You only see them in luxury places like Dubai and Miami. It's a water sport. And so he showed me that. He said, I want to bring this to Ghana. I think people will love it. I said, yeah, bro, like, do it. Like, that sounds dope. You should do it. And from that point on, he was taking the steps to do it. He bought the land. He cleared it. I went home to America, came back. And I said, wow. I said, wait a minute. Marvin, you really did it?
Yeah.
So I was having a tour there. We have a tour company. It's called Diaspora Experience. On Instagram, we are
What's
the
your partner?
Diasporans. Yes, with my sister and her husband, my brother.
Okay.
So we do tours. We've always done tours. And I had a tour, and I said, hey, I'm going to take them out to see Marvin's Land and see what's going on there. And I couldn't believe it. It was so beautiful. I had wanted to build an Ada since I got to Ghana. It was one of the first places I went to. And the breeze, the energy, it felt like Jamaica. It felt like a vibe. And my background is in resorts and spas and beauty.
Right.
So, and I've built resorts and spas as well. So I imagined it there and said, oh, one day I'll have like a wellness island. I'll have a resort or something. I'll do something here, Airbnb, a bed and breakfast, something where people can come and find refuge and retreat here, because this is a peaceful place. And the air is so clean and the water feels so good. It just, it called my spirit. So when I went there and I saw what he was doing, I said, look, whatever you need help with, you got it. I will do it. I'll be there for you. And also, I'll buy two. I want one to make money, and I want one to live in. Because this will be my life, and I see the vision. You got it. Marvin's background is in the music industry. He's won several Grammys and worked with top recording artists, Bruno Mars, Alicia Keys, Mariah Carey, the list goes on. And so he had the vision to put music in Ghana and have Dirty December, the festival, music festivals, every month, and bring people to Ghana and increase the tourism and give them an experience outside of just that 1 month. So that was the plan for Shark Island, as well as the resort lifestyle and the water sports. And, you know, it's a place for everyone. For children, for digital nomads, for people just wanting to generate income. It'll be a destination location. So it's just so smart. It's so smart. And I really believe in the project. So I was so happy that he invited me on as a partner. I work with him as his right hand. And I can't wait to just live this resort life.
I like that. Now, how do you transition from beauty into be able to navigate through real estate? Because even though you offer the beauty, the taking care of people, the hospitality,
Yes.
the real estate game is a little different. How do you maneuver your way through that?
It is. I love it. I love it. I'm actually a property owner, and I love design. I love development. I've done rehab and fixer-uppers in my own home in Washington, D.C., and I've always been into buying properties and things. So I've been into real estate personally and on the business side. And it was actually in COVID that I said, hey, if I had to choose another profession or something in addition to this passion, I would do this. I like this. And it just so happens that the opportunity came. And as I saw real estate in Ghana as well, I was inspired. And I said, you know, this would be another industry that I would like to be in. So I'm sure that my love for real estate will grow.
Yeah.
But it really stems from my love for beauty, for design, development, and creating spaces for people and experiences that they'll love and that will change their life.
I like that.
And that's what real estate is.
Yeah. It's. I think we preach to people in the diaspora that come home, come invest. There's opportunity down here.
Yeah.
But I've had a lady. It was so sad when she said this to me. It's like, I told my mom to come down here to Africa, but she told me she would rather live in poverty in Canada than to embark on a journey to Ghana, Africa. Why do you think? This is great. Owning 2 properties in 4 years in Ghana is crazy, right?
you.
There's possibilities that can happen for many other diasporans watching this right now.
Absolutely.
If people have that mindset of what they've seen on TV and it's holding them back, what would you say to people like that?
Oh, I would say lean into your spirit, find what calls you, and follow. Don't let fear stand in the way. I almost didn't come here. My sister's been coming here since maybe 2005.
What do you mean by you almost didn't come here?
I almost didn't come to Ghana. Like, it was COVID. I hadn't been working. The world was shut down. In D.C., the rules were choked. Like, you couldn't go to the grocery store without gloves, without double masks, without going at certain times. We had a lot of strategy and structure behind how we dealt with the pandemic. So we were very locked in. It wasn't, some people were taking advantage and traveling and exploring and doing things they didn't get a chance to do or things that they love. But a lot of us lived in fear. And we had planned to go, we had planned to do like business exploration in December. But I told her, I said, I can't go. How can I go? I'm not even working. How can I go? I'm just starting to find my way after the pandemic. And weeks were going, and she was going anyway, and I was printing out billboards and posters and banners and T-shirts.
Promoting your business?
For my business, promoting my business. Yeah. And I said, hey, why am I not going? I'm sending her off with all the things, the complete setup, and I'm not going. Why am I not going? Is it money? Really? Okay, I can work that out. I've done so many things with my money with very little. I know God will provide, and I know I can do it. Is it fear? Do I think I'll get sick on the plane? Am I scared to go alone? Because I would have to go alone. I was buying my flight at the last minute. Am I scared I won't get my visa? What is it? What is it really? And I said, you know what? My life is so precious to me, especially after going through those things and other things. And I said, you know, the time is now. The opportunity is now. I'm going. If I go on Google and I find a good flight, I'm going to buy it. And I'm going to expedite my visa. And if I get my passport back in time, I'm going. My grandmother was actually in hospice at the time. It said she was dying. My family didn't want me to go. My mother said, you know, this is the worst time you could possibly
Because your grandma is in hospital.
Yeah.
And you might be able to miss. Okay.
Yeah. And then, you know, what if she does pass away? You might get stuck in Africa. It's COVID. So many things were shut down. You just don't know if you leave home, if you come back.
Wow.
That was very real for us. And so I talked to her. I talked to my father. I said, you know, this one is for me. And my grandmother would want me to live my life. My grandmother always told me I was a star, a movie star, and go ahead and do your thing, baby. So I said, right now, in her time of need, I've been there. I will be there. I'm there with her in spirit. And if all these other things work out for me to go, I believe that God is sending me there, and He has something for me to see and experience. So I will go.
Wow.
And I went by myself. I'd never been on a plane that long. I've been to Europe. I've been all across the world, but I've never been that far and by myself.
Wow. How long was the flight?
Well, the direct flight is like 10, 11 hours. But that one I had a transfer. I think I stopped in Amsterdam. So, you know, when you have layover, it's extra things.
Hours,
so,
like 17 hours.
Yeah, it's like 17 hours. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But, you know, when I got here, I was pumped up. I was invigorated. I was so happy. I still have my video from when I landed and my sister captured me.
What was your reaction? Because you know, when we've been indoctrinated about a stereotype of what we think Africa would look like.
Yeah.
Were you surprised? What was your first impression?
You know, I think there was some surprise, some element of surprise, but it was more pleasant surprise. It was familiar for me because I felt like Jamaica was home. And I adapt so well in Jamaica, it feels like it's just for me. It's just where I should have been planted. And so when I got to Ghana, and I felt like it reminded me of Jamaica, but then it had this other element that I didn't feel in Jamaica, which is the enterprise, the energy, the frequency. It was all elevated, like times 1,000. I just felt excited. I felt at home. I felt like I belonged. And I never felt like I didn't belong anywhere else. I wasn't coming from a place of deficit. I was coming from a place of abundance.
Right.
And I just met abundance right there in the middle. And we liked each other.
Wow. Let's speak about your experience in Ghana, how do Ghanaian treat you, knowing very well that this is a lady coming from the US, hearing your accent, you know, your day-to-day life, how do Ghanaians treat you?
Oh, day to day is very well. It's very beautiful. My brothers, my sisters, Ghana is for me. I get greeted with a comment, and I'm humble, but I don't mean to brag, but they will say, "Oh, you should be in Ghana's most beautiful."
Oh, wow.
Which is a major compliment because it's a big competition here, but I didn't know anything about it. But people kept saying it to me, and my sister would be like, "Hey, Ghana's most beautiful, here she is. Well, here we go again." And so, but it was the women, it was the men. I think they were also just as happy to see me. I think they saw themselves represented in another light, and they felt like something resonated with them just as well as it resonated with me.
But have you heard that they say Ghanaians or Africans don't like African Americans? You've heard
that? Yes. And I've experienced it. I mean, look at the first business location. They didn't want to do business with me because I was a Black American, because I was a woman. Like, I know those things. They said it to my face. So everyone won't like you. But majority of my experience has been very welcoming, has been very loving. And, I couldn't appreciate more just how sweet this place and its people have been to me.
Would you say we don't know each other that well? Being Ghanaians, Africans on the continent, and our brothers in the diaspora. Do you think we don't know each other that well, even going back to histories on what they have been through in the diaspora and what colonialism has also done to Africans?
Colonialism, yes.
Do you want to let's speak on that a little bit?
This one is heavy. This is Black History Month,
right?
And for us in America, February, and Ghana, was established by Kwame Nkrumah, and his vision was birthed for Ghana and its independence after studying at Lincoln University in America. And so, through his work with W.E.B. Du Bois, with Maya Angelou, and different diasporans who he met in America or were fighting for civil rights and things like that, there was this cause to unite after his exposure to what life was like in America for Black people. So that right there is Ghana's foundation, or a big part of Ghana's foundation. And it just comes to show that we don't know each other until we step in each other's shoes. I didn't know much about Ghana until I got to Ghana, until I started, riding the boat and going to the market and living amongst the people and learning tree small. Like, now I'm starting to understand different cultural dynamics, differences, and similarities. But it wasn't until coming here that was a world that came to me. And the same for our brothers and sisters here. We've been separated. We've been separated purposely. I was handpicked to go across those waters and come to America. My ancestors were handpicked, the bravest, the strongest. We are miracles. And I believe that if we were all here together originally and never been separated, our journeys would be vastly different. And I'm actually, unfortunately, grateful for all that has been endured, because it has made us so much stronger. And now when we come together, we have something totally different to offer because of our experiences and what we've had to do. So I feel like the experience and connection with my brothers and sisters feels like, in America, we have something called going down south. So a lot of people, if you live in the North, if you live in the Midwest, Black people migrated, a lot of us, from the South, from the East Coast, coming from Africa. And so you have roots down south. You go to see your great-great-grandma, you go to see your auntie, you go back where you came from for the summer or for a break, and you meet your cousins from other parts of the country, other parts that you didn't know. And you might have the same grandmother, but they're from the other side. So the city family meets the countryside family, and you learn about each other. You live different, but you learn about each other. And so you bridge that gap and you work together to grow your family, grow your wealth, grow your values, and live amongst each other in happiness and harmony. And I feel like that's what we're doing here as diasporans, learning about each other, stepping into this world where our roots, where we came from, and trying to understand more about who we are. And that, I feel like is an everlasting journey. And one I'm willing to ride.
Yeah, because I think that the first time we met, we had it was a learning experience for me where we had about 4 or 5 Ghanaian men.
Yeah, I would say it was about half and half.
Half and half, right?
Yeah.
Where we were literally having dialogue about what colonization did to Ghanaians on the continent and what enslavement of our brothers did to them, and almost comparing side by side, trying to understand each other. And for me, I read a lot. I've learned a lot about our brothers being enslaved in history. But I think I came close to understanding, or I think I did, because it was very emotional. I was able to, I think it was Milton. I had her on the show yesterday. Shout out to her. If
Shout
you are
out
watching
to Dr.
this,
Ashley Milton.
yes, that episode would have been aired by now. And I wanted to really understand what that did to them,
Yeah.
And I think she was able to get me to the point to be like, oh, wow, I get you now. And I think I learned so much about her and African American in general from that conversation. And I think even though it was very uncomfortable conversation, we need more of that, right? Because even though we think we learned it in school, I don't think we really understand it to the full capacity. What would you say?
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, even African Americans being taught Black history in school, the culture gets lost unless you are closely indoctrinated into those experiences. And we're taught from British perspective, we're taught from American perspective, exclusive of Black perspective. And so, those things can be left out generally in our foundational education. It takes your interest and your input to insert yourself in other communities and cultures to really touch the surface of what that even means. But the one thing that does connect us is music.
Yes.
And so I notice here in Ghana, they're always playing our Black American music.
Yeah.
Old,
we like the hip-hops.
The hip-hop, but even the old school. Sometimes on
yeah.
Sunday morning, I hear my daddy's music. I hear my mama's music, my grandmama's music. And I'm like, what they know about that? Okay. So it's been a long time coming. But the music connects our experiences even when we don't understand. So we have connection. And also with the music, I think it's frequency. I think it's our ancestors speaking through our rhythms, speaking through our sound. And we have to grow closer to that so that we can meet in the middle and find harmony with each other.
I like that. Let's go back to the U.S. a little bit and speak about... someone made mention of victim mentality. I know it might contradict what we just... No, contrary to what we just... when do we draw the line of being like, we admit we know what happened to our history, right? But then we know the effects of it, but that's what we have to do to move forward, right? I interviewed this millionaire guy, and he's like, he doesn't think that admitting and revising the trauma that his forefathers went through is going to help him. He's going to push him back, right? And he's in the U.S. and saying this. What will you say to that?
When you come out of something as traumatic as the slave trade and civil rights have been for Black American people, it's only expected that there are going to be various perceptions about what happened and how to move forward, given that everybody has to process their experience in their own way. And at this point in the road, everybody is trying to survive. And so a lot of our ancestors even did what they had to do to survive. And a lot of that is mentality. So to me, in my opinion, that brother and other people like him don't want to face the past out of fear of losing steps towards the future. They just want to skip that part and just put all their energy in. But for me, I find great pride in knowing where I come from it helps me direct my steps to where I'm going. I feel fortified by knowing that I'm a miracle, knowing that I'm intentional. I'm on purpose. Somebody chose me. My ancestors not only just got on a ship and left or were taken, kidnapped, they were brought from miles and miles and miles inland and hand-selected because of the work that they were doing. It wasn't just because they were black. When you start to understand the complexity of the story from this side, you pick up a lot of the details that, to me, I find empowering. But even just with the Black American side alone, I always felt empowered by Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, and the list goes on. That these people had courage and they stopped at nothing for freedom, even in the face of death. So everyone is entitled to their perception and how they want to look at it. But I do believe that we should all search within for our connection to that place in the past and make it a positive experience and make it a positive outlook, because there's so much there that is for us. And I look at it like somebody died for you to have this privilege, for that millionaire to be in that position that he's in. He didn't just wake up like that. Somebody had to die for him. Somebody had to get raped and lynched for him. Somebody had to get dogs sicked on them and hoses put on them. People fought for the right for him to go to school, to get education, to have idea, to have autonomy, to be considered a man and a human being, and not a monkey, not a savage, not beneath and less of a person. So for me, it strikes me very passionately. And I would always have that conversation with somebody with that perspective, but they're definitely entitled to their own, and I welcome them at a seat at this table.
I like that. Now let's speak about our brothers coming home and even taking advantage, or even doing something down here. We've had there's Lebanese coming into the country, Chinese is coming into the country. Everybody's coming. Everybody's here.
Right? We're really the last.
Right.
African Americans, get on board.
Right. So why do you think we are slow to the party, as African Americans moving to the continent? I mean, we are slow to the party. You say it's intentional. What do you mean by that?
It's intentional. We were intentionally separated. You understand?
Yeah.
So if we were Black Americans, handpicked to leave Africa, to build America, why would they ever empower us with who we really are? We were stripped of everything. Our names, our language, our food, our family structure, everything about us was something new. And then we had to create our own subculture within what we were given, which is where you get soul food and soul music and Ebonics and just our own everything, Black American everything. But yeah, it was intentional. If we truly knew our power and were connected to our source, how powerful would we be? So yes, we'll invite everyone else to come and eat here and break bread with us. But the world knows that we are a superpower when we're united, when all original Africa is combined, with all that was meant to be destroyed could never be broken.
That's the reason why we are being separated so hard, and why Africa was divided into so many countries and stuff like that. Is that what you're trying to say?
I believe so. I mean, I think it's human evolution as well. These atrocities, these divisions, they happen, these schisms. But for Black power, we are the essence of human nature. We are the beginning of mankind. So if you tear the root up, at the seams, then nothing can grow from it. Everyone else can come and take part in it and take branches and take leaves. But if you don't connect the root, nothing will flourish. You can only just take what's there. Right. They're not coming here to create. They're coming here to take and claim their own and conquer. We, Black Americans, are coming here to create. We're coming here in brotherhood and sisterhood and partnership. We're like, hey, we want to connect with who we are. You are part of that. We want to know you. We want to know who we are. Help us. Yes, we'll give you basketball. We'll give you rap. We'll give you whatever you want that we have. We're coming with offering. We're coming with all our savings. We're coming with all our family.
I remember when AAA President Diallo Sambri said that African American, right, who looks just black as a Ghanaian guy in the same shopping mall with a white person, the white person will get a better treatment than the brother who just moved down here. What do you think?
That's true. It's absolutely true. It's brainwashing. It's colonialism.
What do you think we have to begin to do differently in order to build our bond even more stronger?
We have to be together. We have to learn to be together. For me, that's God's greatest commandment is to love your brother as I love you. And for me, that's my center. That's my root. But for others, in their other doctrine, we have to find that place of solidarity, humanity, and brotherhood and sisterhood, and know that, hey, we're all here for a common purpose. We're here to uplift the black race. We're here to build. We're here to bring black excellence, to solve problems, to raise economics, to educate. Yeah,
I like that. Let's detour a little bit. Coming to Ghana, how much money did you come to Ghana with?
The money I bring to Ghana, I don't even know I have. The money, it comes from every pocket, every pants,
most
your
people
shoe,
ask questions,
your kidney.
How much do I need to be ready to embark on a journey to Ghana or Africa? What would be the best answer for people asking this question?
You need to be prepared with passive USD. I would say first and foremost. You need to have money that's coming in that you can step aside from that's just coming. Whether that's investment in trade, real estate, an online business,
so you have cash flow
job.
from the U.S.?
You need cash flow from the U.S., absolutely. Another thing that I've had to learn, and it's still a hard process for me, you have to let go of your life there.
Really?
I'm a bicontinental person, which means that I go between the two continents. I have lives in both continents. I have home and business in both. And it's very difficult to do that. I would not advise. I do think you need to give yourself whatever period you think is necessary to really transition
and leave everything behind.
Yeah, and leave everything behind. Figure out what you want. Figure out how to do the things you need to do. And you can only give up everything when you're ready. But I would say that has been my biggest setback, is this other life in America and maintaining that. If I were to have come and given all, I think I could be even further because I wouldn't have to try to also keep up in this other world.
And putting your resources in two different places.
And pull your resources in two different places and two different speeds. And it's
interesting.
Wahala.
Well, give 3 best advice for people who have decided to embark on a journey to Africa, Ghana.
Definitely do your ancestry test, your DNA test with AfricanAncestry.com. They have.
You should stop giving them free shout outs. I reached out to you guys. Let's work together because every single person talked about them.
Let's all work together.
And they didn't reach out to me.
Let's all work together.
Sponsor the show.
They're going to reach out. Today is the day.
Okay.
This episode will be life-changing for us both.
Good.
Yes.
No, go ahead.
They're listening. But do your African ancestry because it's different than all the others. It's the only one that truly connects with Africa as Africa pertains to Africa, which is tribal. It doesn't matter that you're from Sierra Leone. It doesn't matter that you're from Ghana. It doesn't matter that you're from this place. Africa is very broad, and people are very nomadic. So your tribe is how you identify with who you are. So definitely make that your step. Make a plan to come. Connect with your diasporans here on the ground. People you know, people you don't know. Find out what organizations. Reach out to AAAG, African American Association of Ghana. We'll definitely help you. And pinpoint the things that you have in mind that you can bring to offer Ghana, as well as the things that you would like to get from Ghana. And just kind of have that in mind and release your expectations. Come and seek, but also know you will come and find.
I like that. Most people move to Ghana, right? Spend 2 years and move back to the U.S. back. It could be financial reasons. It could be like some experience like what you had to go through. It kind of make them give up.
Yeah.
Right? What do you think the person has to do different, or these people have to do differently, apart from the advice you gave, in order to be like, I'm not moving, I'm staying? Because you stayed, you had that moment the first year that you came, but you decided to stay. How did you program yourself?
How do you rationalize it?
Yeah.
I weigh my pros and cons. And a big part of that is my personal happiness, my peace. The peace I have here is like no other. And I'm a very peaceful person in general, so I have peace. I'm not like looking for peace. But this peace has been very special, very different, and very empowering. And the fuel that it gives me is enough for me to keep going. But I know that Ghana is not for everybody. And everybody that comes to taste and see will not want to be in it in its fullness. They'll say, okay, that was nice, I'll go home. Or it's not worth it for me to lose everything. For me, I found in losing everything, I'm only gaining everything. I'll never really lose. Every snake sheds its skin. Even as humans, we shed our skin. You have to get rid of in order to gain.
Right.
So I understand that concept in life, and I think everyone has to, at some point, do their checks and balances, their due diligence, weigh the pros and cons, and see what works best for you. Don't take this on as a challenge just to win with your ambition. This matter here is a full commitment. It requires your heart. It's so much more than just being able to say you succeeded in it. It's what's really in it for you. Connect with your why and apply it to everything in your life.
I like that. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. This has been an amazing conversation.
Thank you. It has been much better than our first conversation.
Definitely, yeah.
We were fighting.
But that's what brought us here today.
It is. I didn't want to give up, just like Ghana.
You see?
I said, no, we will continue this.
Yeah, I didn't give up either.
You
now
did it.
we're
You
here
did
sitting and talking. This is amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Guys, if you're watching this episode, make sure you like the video. If you really like it. If you don't like it, just leave the like button alone. But if you really like it, comment down below what you like about the episode. Let's get the engagement going. Share to friends and family. You know, for them to hear stories like people moving back, someone special, moving back 4 years ago and having what she have now, trials and tribulation. Learn from their experiences, so you can use that for yourself when you decide to embark on a journey to Africa. And so this is the end of the episode. If you do have a final message to the people watching, those who didn't believe you could make it in Africa.
You can not only make it in Africa, you can thrive in Africa. Africa is the future. Ghana is the future to behold, and this place has so many opportunities and great things for all of us. So come check it out. I am the Brilliant Broker GH, and you can check me out on Instagram.
How do people find you?
They can find me on Instagram at the Brilliant Broker GH. Brilliant Beauty Ghana, that was my first business, and now in real estate, I am the Brilliant Broker GH.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right,
for
let's say
having
bye-bye
me.
to them. All right, peace.
Bye.
Bye. All right.